again. One more time, but this time, I need everybody in here to actually act like y'all know who I am, okay? That's what's got to happen, all right? Matter of fact, even better, I want you to act like you've been on the waiting list for 2 tickets to your favorite concert for a whole year, all right? But even better, since everybody's already standing up, because you all are the change agents, I want you to give a standing ovation for the person sitting next to you. Let's go, Mike. So through this weekend, we've been discussing 5 signature speaking styles. But right now, we're about to get into the style of the motivator. Now see, the motivator has the ability to get the audience to see the light at the end of the tunnel. I mean, the motivator has a unique gift, okay, to be able to point out the positive things so that the audience can shift their mindset. Watch this, y'all. To take action. Now, see, action stands for the activities constructing the infinite opportunities now. Like Dr. West said, this is the beginning, not the end. So again, action. The activities constructing the infinite opportunities now. Now, I gotta ask, how many people in here want to make some history? Okay. So y'all want to make history. We're going to be a part of history. We're going to do something that's never, ever been done before. So when I say, are you ready? I need you with passion, conviction, and energy to say, we ready. Okay, y'all got it? Are you ready? Are you ready? Now before, what you know about that? Now before we start talking about making this history, I gotta ask, how many people by show of hands have seen Black Panther? Okay. Because when I told my wife I was gonna say that, she said, well, what if nobody seen the movie, man? I said, well, shame on them, right? Now let me ask you this. Do you remember the part of the movie right after T'Challa became king and his sister upgraded his suit? I mean, that's so powerful because if that brother took a blow, I mean, whether it was a punch, a kick, a grenade, his suit built up with kinetic energy. And what was so powerful is that he could transfer that energy back any way he wanted to, when he wanted to. See, one thing I've learned about the best motivators, they have a unique skill that they can create that energy transfer with their audience, and then at a moment's notice, if they want to get some more connection, right, Anana, some more connection, or if they want to create impact, they just tap into that energy. Anytime they want to. Again, are you ready? Are you ready? Now again, we're going to do something. This might be a little tricky, but we're going to get it right, Black Girl Speakers. Okay? So look, I'm going to say it's the builder, and then from that wall to that wall, you're going to say, and it's time. Y'all got it? Yeah. Y'all got it? Yeah. I'm going to say it's the builder, and you're going to say it's time. You got it? Got it. Here we go. It's the builder. It's time. And it's the builder. It's time. Y'all can't see it, but I'm glowing like purple underneath my jacket. I love it. Now for the second part. And this one's going to be a little tricky, but you got to stick with me, okay? All right. I'm going to say to build minds. And y'all going to say with minds like mine. Okay? I'm going to say to build minds, and y'all going to say with minds like mine. Y'all got it? Are you ready? Are you ready? To build minds with minds like mine. To build minds with minds like mine. Y'all good. I told my wife y'all was going to be able to do this. Now watch this. We're going to put it together. Okay? We're going to put it together. Now remember, I'm going to say it's the builder, and you're going to say it's time, and then I'm going to say to build minds, and you're going to say with minds like mine. Y'all got it?
Yes.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Are you ready?
Yes.
History in the making. Here we go. It's the builder.
It's time
to build minds.
with minds like mine.
It's the builder.
It's time
to build minds.
with minds like mine.
Yeah.
Man. You know what's beautiful? Everybody going purple. It ain't a stitch of vibranium in this hotel. Not a wee drop. Now listen. So many people say that motivation is an external feeling. And I actually agree. Because they say inspiration is what comes from inside. But watch the funny thing though. Watch this. Watch this. Most people, the majority of their immediate greatness comes moments after they've been motivated. They find their greatest inspirations after they have been motivated. How about that? But why is that? Why is that the case? So look, all of you all have the speaker trait sheets, right? Make sure you have them on your table. I think they might have passed them out yesterday, and they were two-sided. You double check, make sure you have yours. Both of them? We have any more handouts? We have any blank handouts? Surround yourself with the dreamers and the doers, the believers and the thinkers. But most of all, surround yourself with people that see greatness in you. You know what? Even when you don't see it in yourself. Even when you don't see it in yourself. Well, as folks are getting sheets, we're going to go ahead and start to look at, okay, the signature speaking traits of the motivator while handouts are coming out. But can I share something with you all about training that absolutely changed my life? Yeah. Is it okay if I do that?
Yeah.
So what I want to do is share with you 5 steps to training that you all can use today, because we're going to use them today. And then at any given time when you facilitate a training in the future, you can use these 5 steps, all right? First you have the what, the why, the how, the personal pitfall, and then persuasion. Listen to me. Today, the what is the motivator signature speaking style, but you can insert any what you choose. But you gotta understand why it's important. Why is it necessary? Why does it have validity? And then the next thing is how. How does it work, right? What does it look like? How does it operate? Now with this personal persuasion, the thing I love about personal persuasion is because most of the time you already know somebody is trying to debunk what you are already talking about as you're teaching it. But see the thing with personal persuasion, because you know that, then you use it like the Jedi mind trick. Like, oh, I know what you're thinking already. And then the last one is persuasion. So I would think by this time everybody has a sheet, correct? Good deal. So let's look at the speaking traits. The first one is they have to have the ability to connect. To be a motivator, you have to be able to connect. And I truly hope we were able to create a connection between us when we made that moment of history. Amen. So that's number 1. Number 2, passionate about their subject matter or topic. I don't know if y'all can tell, but I'm a little bit passionate about this motivation thing. Just a little bit. Number 3, they have on-demand voice control. So at any given time, they can utilize voice inflections and the change in their tone to create that impact or that energy. Number 4, on-demand emotion control. I once learned that there's no way in the world you can get someone to create motion without emotion. If there's no emotion connected to what you're talking about, it's no way in the world you're going to get someone to be able to take action. Now, number 5, the communication of mastery. Anytime someone comes to one of your events, or they attend a training that you're facilitating, they're looking to talk to some type of expert. They're looking to get something that they don't already have, or if they have it, your ability to enhance it. So again, it's critical that you display a level of mastery with your craft in order for them to really buy in, and even better, walk away with some type of takeaway. Is that fair?
Yes.
Awesome. Now, I gotta ask you all, to ask you for the example of a motivated speaker, who would you pick?
Ruben West. Ruben West.
Ruben West? Outstanding, I agree. Anybody else? Man, I'm humbled by that, I love it. Eric Thomas, well, you know, Carlos, already, my man. Wow. I love it. He has a unique energy signature. And that's what it's about. Now, I have to say this. When I thought about it and I was filling out my sheet preparing, I thought about Les Brown. I mean, they call him the motivator, LB. Right? I think about it, I can hear Les right now. If you fall down, try to land on your back. Because if you can look up, you can get up. But see, the thing that I love about the best motivators, and if you look at all of the different signature styles, they all have the ability to utilize stories, right? But it's the stories that they use and the type of stories that they use. Let me ask you, how many people like the Olympics? Okay, it's a few. That's a few. Well, I can tell you something about me. I love the winter games, the summer games. My DVR be about to explode because I'm trying to catch all the events. But one thing I learned this past winter, that when it comes to the United States, the most prolific sport and the most dominant sport for the United States during the winter games is snowboarding. Can you believe that? Snowboarding. Now, I guess we can agree that if you want to talk about motivation, it's no motivation like an Olympic athlete. I mean, 4, 5, 6+ years to compete in some events that might last 30 seconds. 30 seconds! But this past games, I learned about an athlete that's not even an Olympian. A gentleman by the name of Jake Burton. The founder of Burton Snowboards. He actually helped pioneer the sport. In 1977, Jake Burton founded Burton Snowboards. Snowboarding changed the lifestyle of his family forever. Now, listening to Jake Burton talk, watch this. He said that snowboarding with his family was like a spiritual experience. That man said that he had some of his fondest memories of training his children how to snowboard. He remembered that more than the day they was born. But in March of 2015, the Burton family came to a complete stop. After one of his infamous training sessions following lunch, Jake Burton got home and he started telling his wife he had double vision. He couldn't understand why, and she was giving him a hard time about pushing himself too hard, but he was like, honey, I have double vision. So she took him to the hospital. They met with one doctor, and in complete disbelief, he just couldn't believe what they said. They went to see another doctor. And the doctor said, Mr. Burton, if you have what we think you have, tomorrow, you won't be able to swallow. The next day, you won't be able to open your eyes. And then the next day, you won't be able to breathe. See, Jake Burton was diagnosed with a rare nerve disease called Miller-Fisher syndrome. At the moment's notice, it can strike and cause instant paralysis for over 2 months. So here it is, this man of this family that pioneered this sport found himself confined to a hospital bed with his family standing around wondering, was he gonna die? His family said it was watching him waste away because his mental faculties were there. But physically, he couldn't do anything. He couldn't do anything. Man. They said that Jake just said he wanted to give up and die. See, one thing that they found, though, was when he was building his business and pioneering snowboarding, he used to write a lot of small notes on a scratch paper, just take little bitty notes. And so they put a piece of paper and pen in front of Jake and he could scribble. It was amazing to see Jake Burton start to cry when he reflected on the story because there were 2 notes that his family had held on to. The first note said, it's almost as if I'm glad that this happened to me. The second note that followed that one, he said, because we've learned to love each other more and we've grown closer. Jake Burton said it pushed him. It challenged him in a way it never did before because he was so focused on getting back up on that snowboard to have that spiritual experience with his family. So after 2 months of rehab, after 6 weeks in the hospital, being connected to a ventilator, he was able to get up and sharing that experience with his family. Jake Burton said going through that moment was one of the toughest things he had ever did in his life. And what was so interesting to me is he likened it to pioneering a sport that reached Olympic levels and building a business from the ground up. And he couldn't have done it alone. So I have to ask you, what's your takeaway from the story? Keep going. Anybody else? Don't give up. Anybody else? Perseverance. Don't do it alone. A lot of positive things. Determination. So again, when it comes to the Motivator signature speaking style, the stories they use can be extremely powerful. So now I want to go back to your handouts, okay? Because we're going to list some of those story types. All right? Everybody see that section? So again, I heard somebody say, hang in there. I heard, don't give up. How about this? Endure till the end. Now I have to say, I'll never forget pledging the fraternity. And if you ain't knowing, I'm an Omega, man. DJ Mike set me up and played Atomic Dog the other day. I was like, man, you can't do this! But one thing I remember, I don't know if it was late at night or early in the morning, but all I know is it was dark outside, right? And me and my line brothers used to look at each other and say, man, the sun got to come up. The sun got to come up. Because we knew when the sun came up, they was going to send us home. Or at least we thought so. Also, how about this? Never quit. Watch this, y'all. Quitting. Quickly underestimating inner thinking. To quit. Quickly underestimating inner thinking. So many times we make a split decision to do something, and it might be the wrong one because we just underestimated ourselves. The next story type, somehow, some way. Somehow, some way. And why is that impactful? Because if someone can get it done, guess what? So can I. So can I. Now remember, the 5 different steps that I shared with you all. The what, the why, the how, personal pitfalls, and persuasion. Okay? That being said, let's look at some of the negative traits. We'll stick to the handout, but I want to go through some of those negative traits because look, I don't care what it is, everything has a bro, and everything has a that's life, right? So let's look at some of those negative traits. Sometimes they fail to acknowledge the hardships. Now, one thing I love about Black Belt speaker training, anybody ever see that show that came on several years ago where they had a magician come on stage in a mask? He would do a magic trick, and then after the magic trick, he'll show you how he did it. Nobody ever saw that? I know magicians everywhere was pissed off. But the thing I love about Black Belt speaker training is it's like you get to see the magic, and then the magician show you how to do the trick. I'm saying that because with that negative trait, if you fail to acknowledge the hardships, it's going to be tough for people to buy into you. If you don't have any sincerity or genuineness, how people going to buy into what you're telling them? It ain't always super positive and let's build, Corey. I'm guilty. I'll be honest, I'm guilty. Number 2, they tend to lack formulas and steps. They tend to lack formulas and steps. Because watch this. How you gonna get somebody all fired up, charged up, and say this is the beginning, this is not the end, and then send them out the door and say, what I'm gonna do now? What's next? Dr. West said this was the beginning, but what am I supposed to do? Now, number 3, they tend not to hold people personally accountable. I'm gonna get you motivated, I'm gonna get you fired up, I'm gonna get you excited. Don't fall. So again, these are things that as a motivator, if this is the style that resonates with you and connects with you, These are the negative traits that you have to be cognizant of so that you don't make that mistake with your audience. All right? Number 4, they often haven't done, watch this, they often haven't done the things they encourage others to do.
Watch out. Give it to them straight.
They oftentimes haven't done the things they encourage others to do. I think it was Michael Jackson that said, I'm starting with the man in the mirror. Right? Number 5, until they master their shortcomings, they can. I'm going to leave that blank because I want you to fill it in. Until they master their shortcomings, they can what? How about this? How about this? Leading people in the wrong direction. All leadership ain't phenomenal. Some people aren't mentors, they're tormentors. You know what I'm talking about? So again, they have to master their own shortcomings. Now look, we're going to move forward with the positive because we can't end on a negative note. It just doesn't work like that. But let's go back to some more of the how, okay? And again, it's on your sheet. Let's talk about listeners, connections, needs, and desires. All right? Let's talk about it because some people came into this room with certain needs and desires that they didn't even know that they had. Number 1, a happy ending. Who doesn't love a good happy ending? Come on now. Number 2, a positive outcome. A positive outcome. Because I could have told that story about Jake Burton, but if the story ended with him not ever getting back up on the snowboard and having that moment with his family, this might not have been the place to share that story. Number 3, a picture of a better future. Because there's a lot of people that start in one place and know that with my goals and where I am in life, I'm here. And they just don't see it. They can't see it for themselves. But if the motivator can show them a better picture of what it looks like, they then have the energy and drive to say, I can get from here and get to there. Okay? Number 4, they need to be given hope for the future. They need to be given hope for the future. Some people just need hope. They need to know that it is a better future. You just got to keep going. You just got to keep going. It's like we've been talking about. Life is learned backwards. First you get the test, and then you get the lesson. That's just how it works. That's just how it works. You have to have experience. Now, number 5, they need inspiration through the achievement of others. They need inspiration through the achievement of others. You know what's crazy to me about this? Because so many people will spend time hating. They'll see somebody do something great, and then it's, oh, they got lucky. Oh, they got some type of special water in their house. I can't do what they do. But then you have the few that truly look at someone else's achievements and say, you know what? I can do it too. I don't have to do it like them. I can do it in my own way. But I can do it, because if they can do it, then I can do it. Right? That's pretty much how that works. Now listen, with these connections and desires, the motivator's ability to use on-man voice control and emotional control and weave in their stories, they have the ability to connect with the audience. So someone, because you do it for the one, change agents, someone in the room can sit back or even lean forward in their chair and say, hey, they talking to me. They are speaking to me. Now, one thing that I love is the movement that's able to be created to create energy in a room. Are y'all ready? See? I must have been slipping earlier. We did the whole history. We started it going purple and all. And one person in the room remembered the hook. She remembered it. Thank you, Jeff. So again, I'm going to try this again. Are you ready?
We're ready!
Yeah. Okay, now we're back on track. Are you ready? Ready! Now we're back on track. I love it. So let's look at the different movements. Now, when I talk about making you move, I'm not talking about just the movements of the motivator or just the movements of the speaker. I'm talking about the movements that the speaker is able to get the audience to make. Because that's where your connection is. There's been studies done on physiology and the change of body and movement and just how impactful it is. So when you couple emotions with movement and a little bit of comedy, because we talked about the comedian, we talked about the drill sergeant, right, with some orders and demand to do something and take action, with the right movement, people ain't got a choice but to take action. They don't have a choice. So let's look at some of the movements. This also should be an empty space on your handout to fill out some of the different movements. The first one is the slow clap. Ain't nothing like a good slow clap. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Ah! Come on, y'all know a good slow clap. But with a good slow clap, it creates momentum. It doesn't matter what direction you take in your audience in, but if you choose to use it, maybe you even do it at the beginning. But wherever you choose to insert that movement, you can't hate a good slow clap, I'm sorry. Number two, that infamous turn to your neighbor. We've heard that all weekend. Turn to your neighbor. Look to the person to your right and say, be great on purpose.
Be great on purpose.
Look to the person to your left and say, let's build.
Let's build.
That whole thing is just lovely because, see, something is happening. We create a communal energy in doing that. And then the speaker, they just serve as a conduit for the energy. But it brings us all together. It ties us all in to what's happening. Now, I want you to stand to your feet. Come on, stand to your feet. See, that physiology thing, let's get moving. Because y'all starting to fade on me. Remember, this is the beginning, not the end. Let's go. But what I want you to do is raise your hands in the air. Now look, I love it. See, we connected. That only happens because we connected. But if I told you that your goal, your hopes, your dreams, everything you wanted in life was just a half an inch higher, what would you do? Everybody would reach a little bit more. So that's number three, reach your arms higher, okay? Stay standing now, stay with me, because I got something else for you, don't you? Watch this, the superhero pose. The superhero pose. So look, on the count of three, I want each of us to do our favorite superhero pose. But we're going to do this on the count of three. And when you assume your pose, I want you to say, boom. Okay, so on the count of three, we're going to assume our favorite superhero pose, and we're going to say, boom. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Boom! Man. Watch this, though. Watch this. University studies have been done on standing in that particular posture because it creates confidence. Y'all don't know it. Before they called me up here, I was doing about 5 or 6 Supermans in the back. Okay? Now, let's finish out strong. DJ Mike, you ready? Look, here's the deal. That dance. I know every single person in here has a victory dance. In my house, we celebrate all wins. All wins. My daughter cut the light off tonight. Ooh, we celebrate. Okay? All right? We celebrate all wins. DJ Mike, let me know when you're ready, man. Yeah, look, so look, I want to see your victory dance. When you won, I want you to show me what it looks like, okay? We're going to get this in. Mike, we ready? Look, everybody, you got time to prepare, because Mike is getting it hot. So if you don't have a victory dance, you should be thinking in your head right now, here goes my dance. Mike, we ready? Let me see your victory dance. Let's go! Oh, 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 oh! Hey, hey, up, up! Yeah. Okay! That's what's up. Bring it down, Mike. Bring it down. Bring it down. Yeah. I love it. You all can have a seat. It's a beautiful thing. Now look, we're going to finish out strong. I have 7 things that I want to share with you all. I got 7 things I want to share with you all. Are you ready?
We're ready.
Are you ready?
We're ready.
finish strong. I got 7 things I want to share with you. You got it, Jeff. I got 7 things I want to share with you all that in my study of some of the best motivators across this planet, these 7 things were in common. I'm talking about Dr. West. I'm talking about the Tony Robbinsons. I'm talking about the Carlos Spencers. I'm talking about them all. These 7 things were in common. All right? So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the 7 building blocks of motivation. All right? Now listen, all things begin with action. There's nothing in this world that can be done without taking that first step. All things begin with action. Understand that as speakers, our ability to motivate people is what determines their ability to do what? Y'all got it. Take action. The activities constructing the infinite opportunities now. Right now. People say that it takes 21 days to create a habit. Truthfully, some studies have been done that say it takes 66 days because after the 21st day, you still need discipline to get it done. A habit just simply creates something in happening. But watch this. I love it when Tony Robbins said, just decide to do it. The word decide, side means to kill off. Homicide, pesticide. You need to make a decision, size, cut off. Cut off the other thoughts in your head and just decide to do something and take action. Now look. The first motivation block 1, okay? Make sure you, because they say no takers are money makers. And I once heard somebody last week say that the hand is the digital recorder for the mind. Now watch out. Ignite. Let me hear you say ignite. Ignite. Ignite is a verb. Now, what does it mean? To catch fire or cause to catch fire. Arouse or inflame an emotion or a situation. If you can't create ignition in people, how you gonna get them to take action? Okay? Motivation block 2, necessary. Say necessary.
Necessary.
It's like water to the world. Determined, existing, or happening by natural laws. It's predestined. It's inevitable. It's necessary. It has to happen. You have to show people the necessary things. Motivation block 3, spiritual. Let me hear you say spiritual.
Spiritual.
It doesn't matter the religion, but what it has to do is that when you communicate with people, you have to get them to connect with their higher power of relating to affecting the human spirit or soul as opposed to material or physical things. If you're going to tap into somebody, it has to be deeper. Motivation block 4, propel. Let me hear you say propel.
Propel.
Watch this. Drive, push, or cause to move in a particular direction. Typically forward, spur, or drive in a particular direction. Folks want to be moved. Somebody came in here this weekend looking to be moved, propelled in a certain direction. Motivation block 5, intuitive. Let me hear you say intuitive.
Intuitive.
Using or based on what one feels to be true, even without conscious reasoning, is instinctive. Intuition is the voice of the spirit within you. You have to be able to tap into people's intuition. Motivation block 6. Release. Let me hear you say release.
Release.
Allow or enable to escape from confinement, set free. Allow something to move, act, or flow freely. People came in here tonight with something to be released. If they didn't release it Friday, they released it yesterday. And if they don't release it today, I guarantee you sometime, soon, it's going to get released. Motivation is external, but inspiration comes from within. Let it go. Motivation block 7. Energy. It's the one word that I've probably used more than motivation. But energy is distinctive. Let me hear you say energy.
Energy.
The strength and vitality required for sustained or physical mental activity. A person's physical and mental powers, typically as applied to a particular task or activity. That's your energy. That's our energy. That's why it's important to create energy. Now watch this, y'all. What does it mean? In order to motivate people, we must inspire them. We must be able to ignite the necessary spiritually propelled intuition, release energy that's deep down inside of them. We must be able to inspire people. Listen, my name is Corey Briggs, and I am a black belt speaker. But hear me. Zig Ziglar said there's 3 C's to life. But today I'm going to add a fourth. And that fourth C is challenge. Because I'm going to challenge every single person in here to make a choice for someone, somewhere, to take a chance. And only then, for you and them, can you create true change in their life. If you will, I will, we will. Let's build.